to import the app, we first need to create the SharePoint list, which will be the data sources for the app. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up the list for the ticketing system. So if you go into your Microsoft account, you can click on the 9-dot icon here, and you'll find lists is one of the apps that shows up. And if it doesn't show up for you, just click on more apps and you'll be able to find it there. So here we're going to go to list. Then I'm going to go to create new. And the first list we're going to create is going to be the user table. So we're going to select list. And I will name this user table. And then here we're going to select where we want to create it. And we want to make sure that we create this list in the same SharePoint site that we create all of our other lists. So here I'm going to select the SharePoint site that I want to use. In my case, I will do this one and select create. So now I'm going to create a column. It's going to be a text column, and this will be name. And all of this is correct. We'll just leave it as is, single line of text. Click save. And then we're going to create another text column, also a single line of text, and this is going to store our email. Click save. And then we're going to select the role. So we're going to create the role column, and this will be a choice column. We will name it role, and one role will be technician. And then the next role that we're going to have here is going to be user. You can delete that third choice and then select save. Actually, before we do that, we want to select a default value, and the default value is going to be user. And now we can select save. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to hide this title column because we're not using it. So we'll go here and we will say hide this column. Okay, so now we have our very first table created. Everything looks good. Now we are going to create another list. So we can go back here, create new. This will be a list. And here, this one is going to be called assignments. And I'm going to create it in the same SharePoint site. And then click create. Okay, so now we have here our assignments. We are going to create a column. Our first column will be the category, and that's going to be choice column. Here we will name this category, and then the choices will be account issues, hardware, and you'll see that these choices will match the choices in our tickets list, which is the list where the majority of the ticket information will be stored for the tickets that are submitted. So we have software, network, okay, and then we can click here. And again, we'll just make sure that these choices match the choices on our ticket list. So let's click save. Next up, we're going to make this a person column, and it will be for the technician. And this is the table that will map each technician to a specific category of ticket. So we can now click save. And then lastly, we will have a text column, and it will be a single line of text, and this will store the email of the technician. So let's click save. Again, I'm not going to use this title column, so I'm going to go ahead and hide it, and there we go. One quick thing about this is that you'll want to add, for each category, you'll want to add the technician name and the email in text of the technician that will be responsible for each category of ticket. And the solution already includes a Power Automate flow that will automatically assign every ticket based on this table. So for example, if you have a technician that always does account issues, the automated flow will make sure that all tickets that are account issues are assigned to that person. For now, we can remove this. And now go on to our third and almost final list. Okay, so we're going to create new. Okay, so this is our tickets list, and this is going to be the main table where all of the ticket information is going to be stored. So now I want to make sure that I choose the SharePoint site where I will have all my other lists. It's important to choose a SharePoint site where all of the intended users for the app have access to. So let's go to ticketing system. Then I'm going to click on create. Okay, so the first column is going to be a text column. It's going to be multiple lines of text, and this will be our ticket title. Next column will be our requester, and this will be a person column. And then we will name this requester, and then click save. For the initial setup of the app, it's also important to make sure that all of your column names match the column names that I'm typing here, because these are the column names that are used within the app. Later on, if you want to make changes to the app, you want to update some things, you can definitely go in there, change the columns of the list, add different columns, and then just change those references within the app once you have the app running. But for now, make sure that all of your column names match the column names in the documentation and here in this video. So the next column is going to be a ticket status, and that will be a choice column. We're going to name this ticket status, and it will be a choice. First choice, not started. Second choice, in progress. Then on hold, awaiting reply, closed, canceled, and unassigned. And then for this one, we are going to select a default status. We'll set the default to not started, so that when a user first initiates a ticket, that ticket will automatically have the not started ticket status. So let's go back to here. We're going to create our next column. It will also be a choice column, and this one is going to be for priority. We will say high, medium, and low, and we can check the default to low, just so that if for whatever reason a user doesn't select the priority, it will just be set to low. So let's click on save. And now we're going to do a text column. This one will be multiple lines of text here. I'm going to name this description, and then click save. Then the next column will be a text column again. This time we'll leave it single line of text. This will be for the requester, the email. So requester email, and click save. Okay, so then next column, it's going to be a choice column, and we will name this ticket type. And then here is where we will add the different categories for the different types of tickets. So I've added some basic ones: account issues, hardware, software, network, connectivity, and security. But here, if you're going to use this ticketing app for different categories or different types of tickets, you can certainly change them here. You can even do it right now as we're creating the app. You just want to make sure that the choices here that you have for the ticket type match the ticket categories that we have in the assignments list, and that will make it so that we have alignment there and so that tickets are properly assigned. But here you can really add, whatever type of ticket you want to use, or you can remove some of these choices. You don't have to follow it exactly as I've created the choices here. You can add the choices that you want, and the app should still run as long as you have the same name for the column. Okay, so now let's click save, and I'm going to add another text column. This one will be multiple lines of text, and this is going to be closing notes, and then a person column. This is going to be assigned to, and no space between assigned and to, and it's a person or a group column. Save, and then finally our very last column here is going to be the date and time column, and this is going to be for the date completed. All is the default here, and then we will click save. Okay, so now we just have one more list to create, and this one should hopefully be the easiest list, because we're just going to take this tickets list and we're going to copy it and create the tickets archive list. And the reason why we need an archive list is because Power Apps has a 2000 row limit when the data source is a SharePoint list. And there are a lot of benefits to archiving. Obviously, we want to keep a history of all the tickets that have been worked on. And also, if you're going to do any visualizations with Power BI, you can, of course, combine the list so that you can build dashboards on all tickets, not just the tickets that are visible within the app. So let's go to our very last list. Okay, so let's go to create new, and we're going to import from existing list. And then we are going to select the site where we just created our tickets list. We're going to select the tickets Microsoft list here, then click on next. We're going to name this tickets _ archive, and then we're going to create it in that very same site. So now we can select create, and we'll have an exact replica of that tickets list with the same columns and the same column types. All right, and so here is our exact replica. And as we did with the other list, we can remove or actually hide this title column because we're not using it. Hide this column. We can go back into the regular tickets list, go in here, column setting, hide this column, and there we go. All of our lists are now created. So now we can go in and import our solution and get this app running.